Capricorn Risings, October 2020. This is not a month of anything new challenge-wise, but it's a month of finally doing the growing up and the maturation if you haven't already faced those. If you are excited to dive into what the astrology, the tarot deck, and the oracle deck cards have in store for you for this month, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. This video is brought to you by my very own Astrology Academy course. I've been working on this course for so many months, testing it, refining it, reiterating it, and making it the product that I would have wanted for me to start out when I was learning astrology. So all the information is below if that's something that you're interested in, as well as a 1-hour webinar that I did, which is just a very, very brief overview to how to start learning astrology, so that if you know that you want to commit, you can look at that down below. But if you are more interested in like dipping your toe in or seeing what astrology exactly is, the webinar is also linked down below. Either way, I'm excited to start learning with you in the weeks and months and future to come. Hi, I'm Maren. I am a professional astrologer, author, and philosophy student. I combine traditional Hellenistic astrology techniques with modern psychological counseling dynamics in order to provide grounded spiritual guidance. So we start out this whole month with Mars in your Aries 4th house, squaring Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter in your Capricorn 1st house. So there's definitely some tension, some challenge, or some just like effort and discord that's happening in your home or family life, even to do with your parents or like your property that you're living in, that is at odds with some of the things that you know you need to change about yourself, that you are feeling called to further, and just your identity itself is still going through it. That for the rest of 2020, it's the cherry on top final revisions that you're making to your sense of self and your identity. And something around home or family or living situation is troubling that, and it is not allowing for that clear fruition necessarily as healthily as you would hope. On the 1st through the 5th, Jupiter in your Capricorn 1st house is sextiling Neptune in your Pisces 3rd house. So this year-long aspect of a bit of light at the end of the tunnel is this like slight better than nothing outer planet aspect that we wouldn't normally prioritize, but like we have no other really positive outer planet aspects right now. So it's a slight opportunity between all of the work that you've been doing and creative or communication based output, that you are feeling called to express yourself, share your journey, possibly like online or on social media as part of the light at the end of the tunnel. That if you're like me, you're hoping that eventually what you're sharing might make it somewhere. So like there's a bit of that where like you feel like you've gotten somewhere and you're worth sharing it. On the 1st as well, there's an Aries full moon happening between your Aries Libra 4th house 10th house axis. Full video on this is down below, but this is a really very mind-blowingly like anarchistic and rebellious lunation, an ending or a coming to terms or a culmination around home and family and how that affects your long-term career goals. So this might be like you finally leaving a living situation. This might be you finally cutting off ties with a parent or a roommate in that way. Something is very much having the lid blown off in home and family to allow you to focus on some sort of long-term career matter. On the 10th through the 19th, we have the Sun in your Libra 10th house, squaring Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in your 1st house. So this is indicating that now there is some odds or some difficulty in balancing focus on career and possibly an authority figure or a boss that is demanding something of you in career and wanting it to be perfect, and kind of the shit you're going through on your own, that you are realizing how demanding it is to put on a show or deliver the output in terms of your vocation, as opposed to the demands that you've been doing on yourself to do the internal work and not bypass. That it's kind of like, you really expect me to do that right now in the midst of like a breakdown. But on the 11th, we do have Venus in your Virgo 9th house trining Uranus in your Taurus 5th house. So on the 11th, there is some nice harmony coming from education or travel plans that allows you to have some unexpected creative breakthroughs. Or with the 9th house, it can be higher education, and the 5th house can be romance. So you might be meeting someone through school that is like a sudden romantic partner, or you might just be finding that some sort of advancement in your education allows you to be more creative suddenly. On the 13th, we do have the Sun in your Libra 10th house opposing Mars in your Aries 4th house. So there is this dynamic middle of the month of definitely some expectations and some authority in your career being at odds with the trouble at home. There is this like, what is the ground beneath me and where do I see myself going? On the 16th, there is a new moon in your Libra 10th house. Watch the full video on this because this is happening in a very public, very career, long-term oriented part of your chart. And it is a very scary or isolated new moon. It's very much like setting up shop and setting up a home in the middle of a battlefield. And if anyone knows a battlefield, it's Capricorn. And It's one where you might be deciding to embark kind of like for the long haul on some dream in your career, and you're realizing that this has to be done. There's never going to be a perfect time to do this, that if I'm going to commit to this path, it's going to be here and now, even in the midst of the shit show. On the 18th, Venus in your Virgo 9th house is opposing Neptune in your Pisces 3rd house. So be careful around the 18th around feedback that you're receiving from someone of authority, maybe in terms of your education, or even like if you're on a spiritual path and you're learning from a spiritual teacher right now, be wary of the advice that they're giving you. Not that they're lying, but that it might be taken or misconstrued in a way that affects then what you say, like online or something. So be careful about information intake at large during the middle of the month. On the 18th through the 25th, we do have Venus in Virgo trine Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto in your Capricorn 1st house. So by the end of the month, we do have a really positive alignment between education or spiritual insight, or like just commitment to learning truth, aiding your self-development, that you are committing to this long-term path of maybe even travel, like you might be in a foreign country and that's helping you find yourself, but you're going far outside your own knowledge in order to facilitate better articulating who you're transforming into. And the month ends on the 31st with the Sun in your Scorpio 11th house opposing Uranus in your Taurus 5th house. So the month does end on a whoa energy around romance or creativity and the shock or rebellion in that area of your life, being at odds with what the status quo is thinking and lining up in your networking or your friends. So your friends might be very surprised by your romantic partner or by your creative output. If you do have any thoughts around the astrology coming up this October for you, do let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you before we do get into some tarot cards. Let's pull a tarot card for Capricorn Risings and see what comes up. We have the Knight of Swords reversed. So Knight is action, it is like the mental ingenuity, and swords are also decision-making and mental agility. And so this is rethinking the thinking. How do you need to change the way that you are considering the situation at hand? Maybe this means going back to look at what decisions you've made rather than move forward, and really interrogate, like, am I leading a life of values right now? Finally, let's pull a Work Your Light Oracle deck card for a final bit of guidance for Capricorn Risings. We have Soul Family. Call in your tribe, you don't have to do it alone. If you feel really lonely right now and like you're breaking off with your family or even like your living situation and you need to find a new home or a new like family beneath you, realizing that doesn't need to be blood, that blood family is arbitrary, and that this is a time to call in your true family, and that if you really are breaking off ties with a lot of people close to you, instead of just seeing it as a goodbye and feel the goodbye, weep, like really feel that pain, but don't bypass it, but see it also as space for a new family to come in. If you enjoyed this and you would like to check out my personal consultations below, if I am open for readings, I would love to read for you. And if I'm not right now at this time, you will be notified of a wait list and places to join so that you can hear when I am reopened. But other things, astrology webinar is down below, 1 hour to really get you started and learn from me directly, you know, what the first things I would guide you on are. Astrology Academy is down below if you are ready to dive into this on a semester-esque, really committed level. I'm excited to learn with you in that way. But either way, do let me know down below any thoughts that you have about this October. Would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, do all of the things. And sending so much love, I will see you in the next one.
But there is one thing you're all